Manchester United 0, Juventus 1 in our third game in the Champions League in Group H as well. Another defeat now under Jose Mourinho, our fourth defeat now this season in all competitions. 3 in the league. Now another defeat in the Champions League. Juventus now drifting further ahead in Group H. Drifting more points ahead of us. Juventus now, won 3 out of 3 now in the Champions League, as we all know, and kept a clean sheet in all their first 3 Champions League group stage games, as well. As we all know, haven't been beaten on the road, since last November, and that still continues now. And Jose Mourinho, there's problems lying at Manchester United, and Jose Mourinho has admitted in his press conference that youth have got more experience, they've got the best players, they've got the best players, they've got more experience, they've got more talent, he said as well. Juventus have got faster, more players as well. So it's our first defeat now in the Champions League. The previous 2, we drew 1 and won 1 as well. But Paulie Dybala's 17th minute goal decides between the 2 sides as well. Ronaldo got a fantastic reception, making his return to Old Trafford. It's our first defeat at Old Trafford, in the Champions League group stage games at home, since the Real Madrid defeat in 2012, the 2012-2013 season as well, in that period when Ronaldo scored the winner. But a game that Juventus, the majority of the game that Juventus had dominated tonight in the current process. I looked at the statistics. Juventus have had about 14 shots. They created 11 chances. They had 14 shots in total. Manchester United had about 6 or 7, according to the statistics as well in the current process. We know Juventus are a very, very good team. We know Juventus tonight, they had Mandzukic out through an injury. Chandler's got an illness as well. He undergone surgery as well. They had another player out as well. They've got Sami Khedira out till late October as well. Manchester United, had Sanchez, had suffered a groin injury as well. Hasn't really performed since he's come to Old Trafford. As we all know, Lingard out, Marcus Rojo out, and Scott McTominay out as well in the co-positive. Jose Mourinho played as he did against Chelsea on Saturday as well. But tonight, Mourinho has basically admitted, that Manchester United, now have to spend big, to compete with the, especially, the European teams. Jose Mourinho has admitted this. We know Jose Mourinho has been under so much pressure, but basically tonight, majority of the game, Juventus totally dominated, and for Manchester United there was no passion, no effort, no desire, no creativity in the team. We did step it up in parts, spells in the second half, but majority of the game, Juventus dominated. They took control the game. They've got class players like Paul Dybala, they've got Matuidi, they've got Alexandro at that full-back position, they've got Cristiano Ronaldo. I'm surprised he didn't get his name on the score sheet tonight. He had a couple of decent chances, for Juventus as well. Which wasn't playing. They've got the likes of Leonardo Bonucci as well of Juventus. They've got a lot of class players at Juventus now. It could have been 3-4, 5-0 tonight to Juventus, if it wasn't for David De Gea, making some fantastic saves for Manchester United as well. But yeah, we know Ronaldo had quite a few chances that I saw, in the game. He had one that was, he had a shot and David De Gea had made a one-handed save. He had a fantastic effort, from a free kicker, Ronaldo in the first half as well. There was a rebound there and David De Gea had saved again. Dybala had a chance, I recall as well, that just went wide. Matuidi had 1 or 2 chances as well for Juventus. So Juventus, of what I saw, created a lot of, catalogue of chance in the game. They passed the ball well. Juventus looked very, very confident in possession. They looked very, very creative when they was coming forward. But every time we come forward, every time we had the ball, we lost the ball far too easily. We didn't create a hell of a lot of chances, as Manchester United should be. I think the best chance Manchester United had, Paul Pogba in the second half when he'd hit the post and then it came back off the goalkeeper. Paul Pogba had a fantastic chance. I think that was Manchester United's best chance of the current game. But I think the majority of the game, Juventus just totally outclassed Manchester United tonight in every areas of the pitch. If you notice, Juventus had a lot of periods where they had a lot of acres of space, to create chances. Did Juventus as well, and Manchester United, majority of the game just didn't look like there was going to score tonight, and I could tell the way the game was planning out, the way the game was going, and you know what's happening with Jose Mourinho now tonight. You can see the difference Juventus made 3 substitutions tonight in the game. Manchester, what's happening with Jose Mourinho? Where's Jose Mourinho's plan B tonight? He didn't make one substitution tonight, Jose Mourinho. You've got Fred on the bench, and it's absolutely disgusting. Jose Mourinho paid 50. Sorry about that, guys. Jose Mourinho paid 50 million, 50, was it 49, 50 million pound for Fred in that midfield. He hardly gets a start. Manchester United, purchased Fred from Shakhtar Donetsk. Jose Mourinho hasn't had no plan B tonight whatsoever. He hasn't, had a plan B. He hasn't made one substitution tonight. He made 2 or 3, at the weekend against Chelsea as well. There's a lot of players on that bench today that Mourinho, could have brought on, to change the game automatically. And, Jose Mourinho did not bring one substitution on tonight in that game. Fred, he's been struggling to get, into that midfield, because obviously Mourinho's got Matic and Paul Pogba in that midfield. As we all know, Paul Pogba had the best chance of the game, from Manchester United's perspective, by hitting the post in the second half. But most of our, every time we come forward, most of our chances were wasted opportunities. As we all know, Juventus' passing was absolutely fantastic. They created a hell of a lot more accurate passes than Manchester United did. And they basically had us in every area of the pitch, where they wanted Manchester United. And tonight, we look, it wasn't a total humiliation. It could have been 3, 4, even 5-0 to Juventus tonight. The amount of chances they created. Ronaldo played very, very. I think it was a bit quiet tonight. Ronaldo wasn't to his standard level. I'm surprised he didn't get his name on the score sheet though. He had a few decent opportunities. Did Cristiano Ronaldo? We know he got a good reception to Ronaldo, but the goal was from Debay. I think it was from a cross. Something happened to him. Was it Smalling and was it Quado? I can't remember who the Juventus players what. And it fell to a Debay in the 6-yard box, and he just tucked it away, and that made it 1-0 to Juventus just before the 20-minute mark, and that was enough to give Juventus a win at Old Trafford. Basically, this is disgusting, basically. We thought in the Newcastle game, when we beat Newcastle, by 3-2, that was going to be a turning point season. We had confidence that we could have gone on a decent run, get a few wins, go on a winning streak. Chelsea was so close to winning, conceding a 96th minute in that game. We've got a terrible, terrible record at Stamford Bridge, as we all know. We haven't conceded that late since October 2009, and it's basically, this now what's going on with Mourinho, this is a similar situation, what was going on with Moyes and Louis van Gaal. Manchester United have spent a lot of money in these 3 managerial areas. This is a different team, to what basically Alex Ferguson had now at this moment in time. Jose Mourinho, based on our history, we've got a fantastic history, 20 league titles, so many FA Cups. I think we're level with Arsenal, just one behind Arsenal, 3 Champions Leagues. Ferg was at that club nearly 3 decades, and I just don't think any of these managers tried being comparable to that, because with Ferg we used to win 7-8 on the trot, and now it's not happening. It's like we're winning 1 game and then losing another, then drawing another, or losing 2 or 3 on the bounce. But with Fergie, this never used to happen, and it's happening quite a lot now. We know Jose Mourinho's been under so much pressure from getting the sack by Manchester United. He's stood firm tonight, and he's admitted in his press conference that Juventus are a very, very good side. They've got more experience. They've got a lot of quality players. They've got the best players, and he said, Manchester United have spent more to compete with these European teams. But we know Jose Mourinho has purchased 11 players since he's come into the club. We know Lukaku's been scoreless, in about, 8-9 games, something like that. Lukaku hasn't scored for Manchester United now. I think it's something like that. We've got Sanchez, who's on $500,000 a week, who hasn't done nothing since he's come to Manchester United, in my opinion. Very, very good at Arsenal. We know he's a very, very versatile player. For me, hasn't performed at all at Manchester United. We know Martial, very, very good on that left-hand side, and he can play on that right, and he is a good player. He performed very, very well against Chelsea at the weekend, scoring 2 fantastic goals. Very, very good United talent, but I think the performance tonight was totally comparison to the Chelsea game on Saturday. I don't think we turned up at all tonight. Juventus, played very, very well, dominated, created, caused, especially our defence a lot of problems as well. And they were looking up to win 3 or 4-0 tonight. In the current process. It's a good job we've got David De Gea, because at times it could be 5-6-0. We could be losing, because we have got potentially one of the best goalkeepers in the world as well. And it's just very, very disappointing, this moment in time. So basically now in the group stage, Juventus 3 wins, 9 points. Manchester United 1 draw. I think, what was the draw again? 1 draw, 1 win, and 1 loss. So we're sitting 4 points in the group stage. Juventus 5 points clear ahead now in Group H, as we all know. But potentially, based on their history, they're a very good side as well. As I said in my preview, won 34 Serie A titles. Due to a match fix scandal, they got 30 points deducted, including Lazio and Florentino were involved as well. So they was out of the top division for a lot of years. I think it was due to money or tax or something like that. The last time, with this Juventus before today, we'd won 3 meetings in all competitions against Juventus. We beat them back in 2002, 2003, 3-0 at Juventus, 2-1 at Old Trafford. But we all know now it's all different. That's over a decade ago. That's 15, 16, 17 years ago now. These squads, the Juventus squad now, Manchester United squad now is totally different, as to back when, when we had Fergie back in 2002, 2003. This squad now under Mourinho is a lot different as it was back in 2002, 2003, and so too is Juventus as well in the current process. We know Juventus have also won 13 Coppa Italy, 7 European Cups. They've only won 2 Champions Leagues, but they've got to the final quite a lot of times as well. They've got a lot of class players. They've got Calancio in there. They've got Calancio in there. Ronaldo in there, who's aging up, but still a very, very good, talented, fantastic player. They've got Alexandro in there, Matuidi in there, Paulo Dybala in there, who scored an hat-trick against Jumba. He's also got his name on the score sheet tonight for Juventus as well. They've got Matuidi in there. They've got Leonardo Bonucci in there. They've got from AC Milan as well. They've got a very, very class team of Juventus, and Mourinho has admitted this, that they've got a best, they've got best players. They've got more experience, and Mourinho tonight has admitted this in his press conference as well. And we know the manager basically has been under so much pressure at Manchester United. I'm very, very disappointed with the result. I'm not sure Manchester United have got next. I'm going to have a look. But listen, I will start the season, for absolutely years indeed. I'm very, very disappointed because we should have won on Saturday. We didn't get the points, conceding 96-minute stoppage time after a sluggish first half. There was no passion in the first half, no dominance in the first half. Second half, we did liven it up a bit in the Chelsea game, as we all know as well. But very, very disappointing. So where's Mourinho's plan B in this game tonight? We had a lot of players down the bench that, could have automatically changed the game around. We had Fred, Mourinho's purchased 3 players in the last summer window. He spent 200 million in his first season. And, Fred, £50 million, Mourinho should be playing him more more often. It's going to be hard for him to get that game alongside Matic, Pogba, who Mourinho prefers to play above Fred. But Fred could have come on tonight and he could have made a difference in that midfield. And Mourinho, there was a few players on that bench tonight that could have made a difference for Manchester United. Mourinho went with formation where, it looked like it wasn't 4-3-3, it was a 4-2-3-1. At Chelsea, when he made that formation, it looked like a team that was creative, that could score goals, finish. And tonight he went with a decent formation that looked like, it could, maybe cause Juventus problems, maybe, score a goal or 2 at least. And tonight we didn't really, majority of the game cause Juventus any problems, and they just went away with it was an easy win for Juventus tonight, and they've conceded, they haven't conceded a goal yet in the Champions League. The 3 wins out of 3, and tonight Manchester United just did not step the game up at all. I think we had a few the odd spell now and then in the game. I think the best chance was from Paul Pogba. as we all know, when it hit the post. But Juventus had a catalogue of chance. Ronaldo could have had 1 or 2 goals. Matuidi could have had one. Debay could have had more than one as well, because he had a chance or 2 as well. But we basically, on our home turf, that used to be a fortress, back in the Alex Ferguson days, didn't cause Juventus, much problems at all, as we know they're a very, very good side, as we all know. But what's Jose Mourinho doing? I thought he'd brought at least one sub on tonight. I just don't think these players are playing for Jose Mourinho. I really don't think these players are playing for Jose Mourinho. I think in some games, there's been some inspiration there. There's been some attacking instincts there where they have shown they can play for Mourinho. We're dug in against Burnley away, Watford away. But the majority of this season, especially, it just doesn't look like Manchester United are playing. These players are not playing for Mourinho, especially Pogba, as we all know. He's had a dispute with Mourinho, especially this season. There's been talks about him making a return to Juventus. The Juventus director doesn't want him back at Juventus. They have a lot of respect for Paul Pogba, who made 124 appearances. Manchester United paid £89 million for him. The fourth most expensive association footballer, as we all know. I don't think he's any good, and I think we need a midfielder that is a lot better than Paul Pogba at Manchester United. He was very, very good at Juventus, but I think we need a midfielder, that's a lot better than Paul Pogba, in the current process. And, I think since Mourinho's purchased Lindelof for £30 million, he hasn't settled in that back line, at Manchester United either. We've got Luke Shaw. I thought had a good game at the weekend on Saturday. In the past he's had disputes with Mourinho as well. There's been talks about him leaving. But I think, if Mourinho's still in his job by January, which I think he could be still, I think he'll have to bolster the squad a bit more as well. I think he's spent, since he's come to United, is it, £300 million something since he's come to Old Trafford, maybe a bit more than that. I can't really calculate it all up. But these players should be giving it 100% each game. Manchester United, and I know we have got a really, really good squad in that team. I just don't think we're scoring enough goals. We're not creating enough. They're not playing together as a team. As you can see, Manchester City there, they've spent a lot of money as well. Pep Guardiola spent, their one tonight, was it 2-3-0 against Shakhtar Donetsk, They spent a lot of money, but their team are gelling together. They've got one of the best, fucking midfielders in the fucking Premier League by Kevin De Bruyne. Very, very versatile, very creative, more of a team player. Manchester, Pep Guardiola spent £1 billion, in all his career, and he's got a fantastic pedigree. Jose Mourinho's got a fantastic pedigree. He's won titles everywhere he's been, like Porto, Real Madrid, Inter Milan, Chelsea, and all that. As Jose Mourinho, same Pep Guardiola won 7 trophies with Bayern Munich, 14 with Barcelona, something like that, was it? He's won 24 trophies in all his career. And, he's brought records as well as Guardiola, reached 100 points with Manchester City last season in Premier League, as we all know. But, you've got likes of Kevin De Bruyne, fucking Raheem Sterling, Aguero, De Bruyne, as I said, John Stones, City. I've got a fantastic, fantastic squad. Liverpool, very competitive this season. They've got a really, really good squad as well. Klopp's, addressed the defensive problems. He spent, Liverpool spent the most money in the summer transfer window last summer, £171 million. They've got Salah, fantastic player, Firmino, Mane, Shaqiri, Daniel Sturridge. Liverpool have got a fantastic, fantastic squad. We've seen Arsenal lately. They've been doing fantastically well. And I think Unai Emery can turn it around fantastic well with Arsenal. We saw Arsenal winning by 3-1 yesterday against Leicester in the Premier League. They've got quality players like Aubameyang. They've got from Borussia Dortmund, like Lacazette from Lyon. Arsenal have now won, is it 10 out of 10 now in all competitions? They had the first 2 defeats to City and Chelsea at the start of the season, but since then Arsenal have been on a fantastic run. They've won 10 out of 10, in all competitions. It looks like Unai Emery can turn it around with Arsenal Football Club. They've gone 4th in the league as well. Manchester United are currently, we're currently sitting 10th in the league. Since when, would you ever expect a Manchester United team, in the basically nearly the end of October to be sitting 10th in the Premier League table? The lowest we finished with Fergie was 3rd, as we all know. In his first season, we finished 7th. But this is not looking very, very good at all. I think we're sitting 9-10 points behind Manchester City and Liverpool in the league already. And this is not looking very, very good. That based on tonight's performance, based on our history, this team is not playing for the club. It's not playing for the badge, and I just don't. I think the majority of the players, especially, are not playing for the manager. As we all know, we know the players are to blame. We know the manager to blame. We can blame the manager for tonight to not making any plan Bs. Where the fuck were the substitutions in the fucking in the whole of the game? You know, Fred. You know, £50 million sat on the bench. Mourinho should have fucking brought on. You know, you had a lot of other players, you know, sat on the bench, you know, could have come on as well to potentially, you know, change the game around, you know, to maybe get us back into the game. And Mourinho just did nothing of that as well. But Juventus, you know, basically, Jose Mourinho, as I said, admitted in his press conference, Juventus, fast players, best players, and they've got more experience. And this is what basically he's admitted as well. But based on our history, Manchester United should be performing a hell of a lot better than this. So do you think Jose Mourinho can turn it around at Old Trafford, depending on how long it lasts? This is another defeat now at Old Trafford. But basically, I'd love to know your comments. Drop your comments, like, below on the channel. Wait there, guys. Subscribe to the channel as always, guys, and take it easy. God bless, guys, and I'll see you on again on my next video. Take care. Bye.